Assalamu alaikum everyone. Wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, wonderful evening, and wonderful night. I am Nahel Forest Valley, and it's my pleasure to welcome our wonderful guest, Mr. Andrei. Today we have the opportunity to explore his inspiring life journey and gain valuable insight from his expertise as a bachelor in computer science and AI researcher. So, hi Andrei.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm also great. So, can you tell us about your background and experience in computer science? What motivated you to pursue bachelor's in computer science?
Yeah, so I started programming back in uh, grade 7, and I started just making games for fun. And eventually in high school, I stumbled across some papers from AI. So I stumbled across DeepMind's OpenAI Gym and DQN. So this is like AIs that play Atari games, and I thought it was the most interesting thing I've ever seen. So I decided to pursue a career in AI.
Okay, great. So, my second question is that as an AI researcher at the Vector Institute, what specific project or research areas have you been involved in? Could you provide some examples of the work you've done or contribution you've made?
Sure. So at Vector Institute, for the past while since the summer, I've been focusing on large language models, so stuff like ChatGPT, and the main paper I released was is called "Large Language Models Are Human Level Prompt Engineers." And what this paper shows is that you can use large language models to prompt um, other large language models um, at the same level as humans.
Okay. My third question is that how do you stay updated with the latest developments and advancement in the field of artificial intelligence? Are there any specific resources or communities you engage with to enhance your knowledge?
Yeah, so the main way I learn about things is just by talking to colleagues and also through Twitter. There's a lot of AI researchers that post on Twitter, and yeah, just Twitter and colleagues.
Okay. My fourth question is that what skills do you consider essential for someone aspiring to be an AI researcher? Are there any particular programming language or tools that you find valuable in your work?
Yeah, so pretty much everyone in AI research they use Python. So you need some basic Python abilities. In terms of what you need to get started, you just need some very basic programming skills, and then you can watch some tutorials on YouTube to learn about some of the concepts. That's how I started learning as well. And then as you're making things, you're just going to pick up all the other tools and skills that you need.
Okay, great. Could you share an example of challenging problem you encountered during your research or studies? How did you approach and solve it?
Yeah, so I mean, there's always challenging problems because you're trying to do something that nobody's ever done before. Um, I guess there's always usually when you try something out, try an idea, it it never work. It doesn't work, and usually it takes many attempts to get it to work. Just changing parameters, changing your approach, maybe seeing if you made a mistake somewhere. But I think the key to just solving difficult problems in general is just to keep keep trying, because the majority of the times when you try, it's not going to work, but you just need it to work once. So that's all that matters. That you just keep going until it works once.
Okay. My sixth question is that collaboration and teamwork are often crucial in research setting. Can you describe a project or experience where you had to work closely with others to achieve a common goal? What was your role and how did you contribute to team success?
Yeah, so pretty much all the research projects are team collaborations. It's almost never one person just by themselves. There's, for example, the supervisor who gives some high-level insights, like they guide the project towards directions that would be good. Um, and as me and others who are not at the professor level, we don't have the experience to be able to know which direction is the best. Um, there's also like other PhD students or undergrad students that you collaborate with on a daily basis. Um, for example, in my last project, the PhD student I was working with was more experienced at writing, and so he did most of the writing for the paper, and I did most of the programming. And then yeah, for every project you can just split it up however you see fit.
Okay. In your opinion, what are some of the keys ethical consideration that AI researchers should keep in mind while developing new technologies or algorithm? How do you personally approach these ethical challenges?
Yeah, so I think the main consideration is to think about who's using the product and if the product is right for them. So in production, when you're deploying an AI product, um, generally you need to be very strict about um, whether the product's going to work. Like for example, if you're creating some self-driving algorithm, you need it to work 100% of the time, and that's very different from just prototyping, because you can prototype something within a couple minutes, a day, but to get it to work 100% of the time is very um, it's difficult, and it's difficult to prove that it works 100% of the time. So I think if you're releasing something, you have to take very good care to ensure that it's reliable and you advertise it correctly. Like if you say if it doesn't work 100% of the time, you have to make sure that the users know this.
Okay. How do you envision the future of AI, particularly in the context of its impact on society? Are there any specific areas or applications of AI that you find particularly promising or connecting?
Yeah, I think AI has already a huge impact, and the impact will only continue to grow. I think it's going to touch every aspect of society, because a lot of things that uh, humans can do, AI can just do faster or better. And so, for example, if you're thinking about um, doing paperwork, the AI can do that much better. Um, and so then what's left is for humans to focus more on, I think, well, this is down the line, but more on high level and perhaps creative things, like you saw maybe with generative AI that's generating artwork. Um, simple art pieces can be generated very quickly, and so then it's the humans' um, job to um, steer the AI to generate a certain style or mood or that sort of thing.
Okay. Apart from your technical skills, what other qualities do you believe are important for a successful AI researcher? How do you cultivate and develop those qualities in yourself?
Okay, yeah. So I think everybody can develop the technical skills. I think maybe the most important skill is just or trait is perseverance, just not giving up when things don't work. Um, And if you do that, then I think you'll be you'll be successful.
O- Okay. What are your long-time career goals in the field of AI? Do you have any specific inspiration or areas of research that you would like to pursue in the future?
Um, yeah, so as of last month, I started looking at reinforcement learning, and in particular, I'm looking at the memory abilities of reinforcement learning agents. So that's something I'd like to explore. And in general, I'm still pretty new, so I want to explore the field a bit, and then I can commit to a more long-term goal.
Okay, great. Could you tell us about your journey leading up to pursuing a bachelor's degree in computer science? What sparked your interest in the field, and how did you navigate your educational path to get to where you are today?
Yeah, so I told you that in middle school I got interested in programming by just making games, and then in high school I learned about AI, and I was making stuff with AI for fun. And then in university I was able to get some internships as a machine learning engineer. And so after I had the experience of machine learning engineering, I emailed some professors to um, to ask them if I could do research with them. And I was willing to do this for free. Just I wanted the experience. And yeah, after I did some research with the professors, um, I was I it was yeah, the rest is history.
Okay. How has living in Toronto influenced your academic and professional pursuits? Are there any specific opportunities or resources available in the city that have been beneficial to your growth as an AI researcher?
Yeah, so I guess the main benefit is that U of T and Vector Institute are in the city, and there's a lot of AI companies as well. So because there's a lot of AI companies, I was able to get a job as a machine learning engineer. And then because Vector and U of T are there, I was able to find research positions as well. So I guess because the opportunities are here, it made um, it made things easier.
Okay. Being an AI researcher at the Vector Institute, how do you balance your academic and professional commitments with your personal life? Could you share any insight or strategies you see to maintain a healthy work life balance?
Yeah, I'm still I'm still trying to figure that out. Not sure if I can give the best answer there, but I'm trying to sort of just partition my day so I know that there's time to focus on work and then time for family and other stuff. And then if I can partition my day, then I know that in each chunk I can just focus on whatever I'm doing.
Okay. Family plays an important role in many people's life. How has your family supported your educational and career choices? Have they influenced or inspired your interest in computer science or AI researcher in any way?
Yeah, my family's been extremely supportive. So my parents they help me obviously. For example, when I have a deadline, my mother helps me by cooking and that sort of thing. And they've always been supportive of my career. Um, but in terms of influencing whether to become an AI researcher, um, they gave me freedom on that end.
It's so good. If you have children, how do you introduce them to the world of technology and computer science? Are there any activities or projects you enjoy doing together that encourage their curiosity in these areas?
Yeah, so I have an 8-month-old daughter, but she's too young. Um, I'll have to see what I do with her to encourage her curiosity.
Okay. Toronto is known for its diverse culture and vibrant tech community. How do you engage with the local tech scene? Are there any events, meetups, or organizations you participate to connect with others, professional, and stay connected to the latest industry trends?
Yeah. So I don't think I go to that many meetups. Maybe that's not such a good thing on my part. Um, uh, Usually I just meet up with colleagues. Um, yeah, I know there's some events and stuff. Like for example, tomorrow there's an event from Cohere. Um, I guess to meet new people, I go to conferences, and so these are not necessarily in Toronto. These can be anywhere in the world.
Okay, okay. Are there any specific hobbies or activities you enjoy in your free time? How do you unwind or recharge after a long day of research and work? Do any of these activities intersect with your professional interest in any way?
Yeah, so since my daughter's been born, my free time is mainly spent with her. But before that, I used to play table tennis and hang out with friends.
Okay. Given your background as an AI researcher, are there initiatives or causes in Toronto that you actively support or contribute to use your expertise to make a positive impact in your local community?
Mm. So I there's for example a hackathon from McMaster University. So it's like a coding competition. For that hackathon, I've been for 2 years the a speaker, or I host a workshop where I teach people about AI. Um, yeah, I guess that's a good example.
Okay. What are some of your favorite aspects of living in Toronto? Are there any specific neighborhoods, landmarks, or culture event that you enjoy being a part of?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto is a great city in my opinion. I like going to the parks. There's lots of nice parks to go in. Um, and there's also a lot of attractions throughout the city. For example, yesterday I went to the aquarium. Um, yeah, that was fun.
Looking ahead, how do you envision your personal and professional life evolving in the coming years? Are there any aspirations or goals you have for yourself, either within the field of AI researcher or in other areas of your life?
Yeah, so I guess my two main goals right now are to get into a PhD program, and the other one is just to provide a good life for my daughter. And yeah, those are the two things I'm focusing on right now.
Okay. Based on your experiences and insight, what advice would you give to individuals who are aspiring to pursue a career in a technical field or follow a similar path as yours?
Yeah. Um, the best advice I got was to um, just try things. Like for example, just email people, and generally they will reply. And if they don't, follow up a couple times, and generally they will reply. Um, that's what helped me get my first research positions, and that's what I found is also helpful for a lot of people. Just not being afraid to email and ask people for things.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrea, for giving me your precious time, for sharing your incredible journey with us today. Your insight and experiences have truly inspired us. We are grateful for your valuable time and expertise.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Andrea, and to our audience. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversation. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Allah Hafiz, everyone. And Allah Hafiz, Andrea.
Right.